What is third
Okay, sir.
heaven experience?
Okay. Let me just pull the slide. Okay, I had a lot of stuff on third heaven, and because of me going and explaining everything, I think I lost much time, and we couldn't touch on this. Okay, so at the time of ancient Israel, they did not have as complete an understanding of the universe as we do today. Their idea of cosmology was very different. Okay, so they wrote in terms with which they were familiar. So the Jews, biblical Jews, specifically spoke of three heavens. The first heaven consisted of the atmosphere where the clouds and birds were. The second heaven was where the sun, stars, and moon, was. And the third heaven, they would often refer third heaven to the dwelling place of God. So imagine three strata, the atmosphere that we see right on top of us, and the place where the planetary bodies, heavenly bodies are kept, and the abode or the dwelling place of God. Heaven 1, heaven 2, heaven 3. Okay, so this is one. However, there are different ideas of Jewish cosmology that are extra biblical. Okay, and if you read some of those, there were as many as 5 heavens in third apocalypse of Baruch. It's recorded. It's an extra biblical book, and they've also spoken about the heavens divided into 7 spheres. Okay, again in the Talmud we also have, Second Enoch, we also have 10 heaven idea. Okay, so the biblical idea is 3 heaven, atmosphere, planetary bodies, heavenly bodies, and finally the abode of God, 1, 2, and 3. But Jewish cosmology was hazy about it. This is extra biblical, of course. Some said 5, some said 7, some said 10. Okay, even today, the Mormon Church, which is a Christian cult, speak of when they speak of 3 heavens, they speak of 3 kingdoms, and they call these 3 kingdoms as the celestial kingdom, the terrestrial kingdom, and the celestial kingdom. Okay, some other day when we have time, we can look at all of that. They say in the celestial kingdom, God the Father would be there. In the terrestrial kingdom, Jesus would visit once in a while. And in the celestial kingdom, the Holy Spirit would be there. And so they have different categories of people that they want to send to these 3 levels. And the Mormon theology speaks about 3 heavens in such way. If somebody comes and confuses you about these 3 heaven concept using these 3 kingdom ideas, be warned that they are cultic in the way they construe the idea of the biblical view of heaven, right? And there is also this word called paradise that he uses in the same verse, along with his going into the 3rd heaven. So there's been debate among scholars and theologians about whether these two are 2 separate places and separate experiences that Paul is speaking, or whether paradise and heaven are one and the same. There are some that say paradise and heaven are one and the same. But when you try to read that particular passage later on and you exegete it, there are several words and phrases that occur and the way they occur that help us perhaps arrive at the idea that these were not one and the same places, that they are 2 different places. Okay, but there's a lot of debate about it, and there's no consensus, and it's not a very salvific issue that we have to fight tooth and nail about. You go and read the text yourself, see how it's worded and how it's phrased, and you might be able to get a thing or two and decide your position on this. Hope that helps.